What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you're checking out Podcasting Business School. It's the show where I teach podcasters how to love their show like a hobby and build it like a business. This is a podcast audit. I've got my friend Lucy Dumas from the Profitable Photographer. I knew that I was going to trip up on that a little bit. That's
Well,
Profitable Photographer, which I love the niche. I love how specific it is. So we're already off to a great start. Lucy, welcome to your podcast audit. I'm excited to have you here.
thank you, Adam. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So, obviously, one of the things that we normally talk about on podcast audit is branding, expert positioning with your name, all that stuff. I feel like you've already got it there. Like with the title of your show, we're dialed in. I feel like with a good podcast title, if someone reads it or listens to it and they go, oh, that's for me, or oh, that's not for me. So I feel like boom, you nailed it with that. So well done on the branding.
Thank you.
But let I know that you're interested in growth and maybe some monetization aspects. So, like, let's paint that picture 6 months down the road from today. We reunite for a joyous conversation. Everything has gone splendidly. Kind of paint that picture for me. What would that look like if things were really to ramp up over the next 6 months?
Good question. Uh, I would be getting more, um, can I say, more response. It feels like I'm sending notes out in a bottle and it's
Mm,
quiet. Uh,
mhm.
Sometimes I get people saying on Facebook or if I meet them somewhere else in the world of photography that I've been in for 40 years. Oh, I listen to your show all the time. Um, I'd like more interaction. Of course, I'd love to double or triple my real audience. And I would like to attract some more big prominent names. A lot of my guests are very well known, but there's some, superstars in the industry. It would be fun to have them on
Yeah.
the show. Although I had one recently, and it was honestly one of the hardest shows I've done.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. In real time, I just released an episode today called "Should You Keep Doing Podcast Interview Episodes?" And for somebody like you and people like us that are coaches, consultants, we have our own programs and services. That's not always the most important type of a podcast episode that we can put out. A lot of podcasters come in and they're like, I've got to get the big names to grow because they'll share it out. And most of the time they don't. And we kind of have our heart broken or whatever. But yeah, those big name people, sometimes it's a dream interview and it's everything you'd hoped and dreamed. And it's a great experience for you. And hopefully it's a great experience for them. And sometimes they're a giant pain in the butt. And it's like,
Well, he
wow,
was
this is a
great. It's
tough one.
just he had all the potential to just hit play, ask a question, sit back, go for a walk, come back. He's still sharing goodness. And my show, I like to interact. I like to have about 20% me, and I love a good conversation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's part of why I love interviewing other photographers and people, uh, that can support my listeners, just because selfishly, I like to have that conversation.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also, I have more struggle doing my solo episodes. Like how much knowledge can I squeeze out of my brain, or my background.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
of course, I do get uh, occasional people contacting me for coaching that have seen me on my podcast and some other groups I'm in and different things. Yeah, I would like to have many more inquiries
Yeah.
into
Okay.
coaching.
Well, I think I've got an idea that may help all of the above. I know that's a big promise that, I think it could help with downloads. I think it could help with audience engagement so that you're not hearing crickets when you send that call to action out there. I think it could help you build your downloads. I think it'd help you build your business. So to me, and I know my audience that listens every Friday to these podcast audit episodes, they know what's coming. And I really think you need to strongly consider a coaching or consulting or mentorship style episode. And so it's exactly what we're doing here, where you put a call to action out there to your listenership or your email list and go, hey, I would love to invite you to come on my show and let's create content together, because I know that you have the questions that all my ideal listeners have, and I want you to bring those to the table, and we are going to discuss them, those questions, those topics. And the cool thing is it's like a solo episode, but like what you just said, sometimes we have a hard time rehashing the same topic, or we feel like we've talked about all the solo stuff that we could
Mhm.
we could squeeze out. So when you do this type of an interview or episode, I talk about very similar topics, but they're always from a slightly different angle, a different niche, a different brand, a different experience level. So it hits people differently, and people listen to these every single week, and it's low prep on your from your side of the equation, which is nice. That's a nice little break.
Mhm.
And it's great content, and it's engagement to where, like, if you bring someone on your show and you create content together, you're giving them big time value, and they're now a part of your show. That elevates most of those people to like a super fan, where they're gonna, be into your stuff, and they're very excited to come and talk to you, and they're very grateful that you helped them out and kind of sparked a little bit of fire in their direction, and they're going to share it out. So when there are other people that they run into that are looking for content or answers to questions like what you deliver on, they're definitely going to refer your show at a minimum,
Mhm.
if they aren't becoming your best clients and customers. So, how's this idea hitting you so far? What thoughts, what questions are popping up?
So, first thing, and I'm not saying I tried it, it didn't work, but I tried it, and it was like pulling teeth, and I got one person. So, is there magic secrets to
Yes, yes,
getting
yes,
people to
yes,
say yes to, I put it
yes,
on my Facebook, I put it in emails, I put it on this show. Hey, I'm looking for some one-on-ones. And yeah, so that's question number one is
yes.
how the heck to get people to do that.
Well, response number one, right off the top, I want to applaud you for attempting this, because a lot of people don't. So you went out there and you tried it out, but there are a couple of things that we can tweak that will make all of the difference, 100% different results. So the first thing is the naming and the branding of what you call this session. I don't call this free coaching. I don't call it free anything. I call it a podcast audit episode or a podcast audit interview. You want it to have that level of seriousness to it. Don't call it free Q&A, open Q&A. Like, we want to make it as specific as possible. So a profitable photography business strategy session, or a photography business, like, it's just the appetizer, but what's
Mhm.
that one pain point that we can deliver an appetizer with that gives them momentum, that's just like, it's that carrot that they just like, I can't resist that, I've got to try this out. So
Sense.
the naming and the topic are going to be important. Is that making sense so far?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
It all starts with that,
Yeah, the
the
branding.
the eyebrow raise. Huh,
Exactly, I can
that
do
sounds
both of them.
interesting. Yeah, I can only do one at a time.
That's how you tell if somebody's had Botox or not. If you
Yeah,
can get the eyebrows going.
yeah.
Um, I've not had Botox
I'm
for
vain,
sure.
so I don't need it.
So the so that's really, really, really important. I tell a story on the show a lot, where with my first podcast in the health space, I did the free coaching and I put a shout out on my show, and I had 8 people sign up back to back to back, and all of them no showed me, because that
Mm,
free coaching wasn't serious enough, and they didn't realize I was sitting on the other end of the Zoom chat crying like for like 4 hours. And no, another one didn't show up, and then another one didn't show up. So it was
mm,
like an epic fail of massive proportion there. So the branding, the naming, the positioning, that's important, and then being very specific. It's not an open ended Q&A. There's a process. There's a system that we're going to go through. Then we've got to get social proof out there. So I need you to find, I usually recommend with my clients 3 ringers, 3 current clients, 3 past clients, 3 friends, 3 people in the industry that owe you a favor, that will come on and go through this, so you can release those 3 episodes for social proof.
ah,
And then
Mm,
we start advertising as those episodes roll out. If you would like to do one of these blah 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 sessions, here's where we go to sign up. So you sponsor those 3 episodes with the link to sign up, and people will naturally start to trickle in. And the more episodes you do, the faster that trickle comes to like a steady stream of people, to where now like you had to wait a decent amount of time to get in for a podcast audit, and sometimes it's several months before people can get on the list. So it's always full. I don't have to chase people down at this point. So that's that. Those are the 2 mistakes that most people make when they try to figure it out. Is the branding isn't quite right. They're not using quite the right wording, and then we don't have the expert positioning and the social proof with the ringer episodes, or the people that are our current clients or past clients that we can use as examples and put them through the process. So is that helping so far?
yes. How does this specifically, other than the potential of somebody maybe saying, "That was fun, I like coaching," how does that help grow the show?
So download wise, the interesting thing about these types of episodes, well, I think first we have to kind of dispel the myth that I hinted at earlier, where a lot of us get into podcasting believing I've got to have giant interview people on here, they're going to share it out, and that's how you grow your show. And my experience hasn't been that. Like it's, and because
Mhm.
when people come on your show, they're coming to scoop up your audience. They're not there to be a promotion vehicle for you. Like they
Right,
want to promote their stuff.
right.
Um,
Case in point, this superstar, I have less downloads than my normal.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and my theory is because people were so excited, "Oh my gosh, you're getting him on the show," but that they know him, they can listen to him anywhere,
yep,
anytime.
yep.
So, good point.
You're
Uh,
exactly right.
the bragging rights gets me other people. So, anyhow, so
Yeah.
back to my question about how it gets more.
More downloads. So my experience and the energy that I'm putting into this strategy is, if I want to get people obsessed with my show. So if I can get a listener to relate to the content and go,
Mhm,
wow, that question that Lucy just had, or that issue that she's dealing with, I am dealing with that same thing. So I'm paying close attention to what Adam's talking about here. So maybe I can apply these strategies to my show. And if we just keep delivering in that fashion, people keep showing up. So you're not getting those sporadic listeners anymore. All of a sudden, they're like going back in the back catalog to find all these coaching style
mhm,
episodes, and they're trying to listen to all of them. And again, the referral factor, that's still the number one way where people find podcasts, is it's referred by a friend or a family member or a colleague. No matter how much Facebook ad budget we have, like the referral is still the most powerful thing.
mhm,
So, and like, let's say, obviously when this episode comes out, I'll have a little highlight clip and I'll tag you on Instagram and stuff like that. So like people will share that out. They're a part of your show. They're going to share it out. And I bet that when you share it out, hopefully, you don't, no pressure, Lucy, but I'll put up a cool like Instagram video and I'll tag you. Maybe you share it out, maybe you don't. But if you share it out, I bet that somebody in your audience is a podcast listener or a podcast host, and they may scoop up and get into my content. So those are ideal listeners. I want more people like you listening to my show. I don't need John Lee Dumas listening to my show. I need lots of Lucy Dumases listening to my show. Yeah.
It's good
So
good last
that's
name for podcasting though, right?
exactly your Uncle John Lee there. So that's my play, and I'm building this. That's how we can have a smaller audience that's very powerful, of super
Mhm,
fans, and a very high conversion rate into your coaching business. Like
yeah,
this, for myself and for many of my clients, we'll see like an 80% conversion rate of people that do these types of episodes. They end up doing business with us at some point down the line,
mhm,
because they've heard so many of these episodes, and your expert positioning is so strong. It's just like when they're ready to invest in some sort of coaching, you're very top of mind. I had this happen with my boot camp that I just released a couple weeks ago. I did a podcast audit with a woman a year ago, and then that offer it's a year later, that hit her just right. She's been listening ever since we did the podcast Audit. She listens every single week. She's like, this thing, what you just put out, that's the thing that I've been wanting and needing.
Mhm.
Let's go. Let's get
Got it.
started.
Got it.
So that's to me, it's that super fan. It's a longer play, but to me, it's the right play, because for people like you and I, like we're building businesses and we have our own stuff, and like we want to build that thousand true fan feel, and that's when we start getting that engagement back. And like people that do these types of episodes with you, they're commenting on your posts, and now they're in your Instagram feed or wherever you're at on social, and now there's a real relationship there. Like you and I are spending some eyeball to eyeball time
Yeah.
here, so now there's that relatability factor. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so all these things, like I said, it's a longer play, but I've been doing this for well over a year now with this style of episode, and it's only been good that's come out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so is
So,
that helping so far with the
yes.
trepidation there?
Yes. So do you suggest a topic that I pull out, or have them ask? I'm trying to format, because the one time I did it, I sort of did this like major coaching, felt like too much.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you everything in the world as a good start.
Yeah.
I do a free strategy session that I offer, like 3 or 4 per month, that is a deep dive into their goals and into things that, like your strengths, some challenges, and so forth. Eh, so I'm trying to get a hook on what I would be actually doing in these calls.
Okay, who is your ideal client? I'm in my mind, I'm painting the picture of a person that's already a photographer
Mhm.
that, and they're just looking to improve their business. Is that truthful? You feel like?
Yes, I
Okay.
do also get people that have a decision that they're going to grow a business, and they want somebody that's gonna help them from the ground up. A lot of my ideal clients are the ones that are what we call shoot and burn photographers, where they photograph, and portrait and wedding photographers are are my, um, main clients, although I have done commercial photographers and some other niches. But shoot and burn is where you take the portrait, you hand off the files, you don't give any service, you don't
Yeah.
print, you don't help them decide the end. And
Okay.
it's a it's a s it's not a long range plan for a successful, profitable business where you're not working 24/7.
Yeah.
So my ideal clients are people that either want to improve what they're already doing, switch to what we call IPS, in-person sales. Mostly women are the ones that respond,
Okay.
and also people that have a kind of, I'm pretty spiritually based, not religious, and I seem to attract people that wanna play on that level as well, that work on mindset
Yeah.
and inner
Okay.
game and power of attraction and all that fun stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you've got a real nice avatar painted out there, and you know exactly who you want to attract and who's your best client. So I think the through line and the key word for me that's going to glue all this together is profitable. All right. So to me, this branding has to be around profit. So maybe a profitable business audit, a profitable business analysis. It's like you're putting a call to action out there for people that are in business, a profit maximization audit or something like that. Like where are those missing dollar signs that your girl Lucy is going to help you find? And so that's what this session would be about. And it's about you analyzing. You'll have them fill out some information ahead of time to help you out, which is what you did for me, to kind of set the stage. And then for 15 to 30 minutes, that's the sweet spot for this type of an episode. I don't want you going an hour. I think maybe you might end up in that 20ish zone and just focusing on, I'm going to help you find that missing profit to move you up out of the red
Got it.
into the black. And that
Okay.
way, and that is you're setting the table, you're giving them the appetizer. You're like, this is where the missing profit is. And the next logical question that follows that is, okay, well, can you help me implement this? Like,
Got
okay,
it.
now I understand the problem. You've helped me identify that. And then Lucy comes through with the coaching program or the consulting program that delivers the implementation solution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I can usually, when I'm chatting with somebody, be like, "Oh, they're leaving money on the table there,
Yes.
and there, and there, and there." They've got the business coming in, but if
Yes.
they don't know how to sell, or they're great at sales, but they don't know how to attract ideal clients, or, they're putting their pricing on their website and it's chasing off who they want and it's attracting who they
Yep.
don't want, and
Yep.
yeah, okay, that makes
Yeah.
total sense. I got it.
Yeah. Yes. So it's like, I love that hook of where are you leaving money on the table? Like that's perfect because that's just going to freak people out. I mean, that's what we want. And that type of positioning versus sign up for a free question and answer session. Like you can feel the difference
Yeah.
there where if
Where
it's
are
like,
you
yeah, that's what
leaving
I
money
would be.
on the table? Audit.
Yes. Yes. And
Got it.
I mean, that's like, the profit maximization audit. Where are you leaving money on the table with your potentially profitable photography? I keep on wanting to say podcasting instead of photography because that's just what usually comes out of my mouth.
Yep.
Your potentially profitable photography business. Where are you leaving money on the table? So I think that is going to perk their ears up. That's going to freak them out. And like, I have to do this. And then when you start cranking these episodes out, they're like, oh my God, this is giant value because you are just serving that unique pain point. And it's just,
Mhm.
you're the person that's climbed the wall. You're reaching over and going, here, let me just show you how to do this a lot quicker than it took me a few years to get up this wall. Let me just help you up right now.
Yeah.
So I love that positioning. I think this is a go. You feeling pretty good about it?
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah.
And like I said, longer play. I'll say it again because it's important to understand. But relationships, we check that box. Audience engagement, we check that box. Building super fans, we check that box. Conversion rates into paying clients, we check that box. All this stuff, it's only good, and it's really good content.
Yeah.
These will
Yeah, yeah.
be your
Yeah.
most downloaded episodes. Expert
Mhm.
positioning, check that box. So I think that is going to be a great place to start with your efforts. And so I think kind of working backwards, checklist style, work on the naming stuff. Like, what are we
Mhm.
going to call it? What's the brand positioning? What does that look like? And then find 3 people that are current clients, past clients,
Yeah.
and explain what it is that you're doing, and then run them through it. Then you're going to release those episodes. And that's the other variable that we should briefly discuss because there's different techniques there. You could like make a thing of it and release them all in 1 week. Like, do you normally just put out one episode a week? Is that
Yes.
okay? So like maybe just do a little, like I said, a little thing of it, because the more of these you get out, the sooner you get them out, the more people will start responding and signing up for them. So that's something to think about. So if you only do one a month, it's just going to take longer.
Mhm.
Um, so I would probably do like a kickoff week and sponsor it in the beginning and end with here's how you get signed up for one. I'm going to try to release one of these every other week, once a month, whatever you think it's going to be. And then we start rolling that out. The other option, if you do shorter ones, like 15-minute ones, you could tack these on at the end of a traditional interview of a solo episode. You could replace your solo episodes with these, all options. So that's the other thing that you need to kind of think through is like, what's the content rollout schedule looking like? So, any of those feeling better than other options for you there, Lucy?
Uh, Feeling better than other options.
As far as
Me
like do you feel like this could be a potential once a month, once a week, adding it to the end of an episode? What,
Yeah,
what are
I
you,
like
what are your
that idea.
thoughts there? Okay.
Something
Yeah.
to ponder in my heart.
Ponder in the heart region. All right, cool. Well, I feel like that's going to be, I think this is going to work for you. So I'm
Yeah,
really excited about it.
I got a question and a comment. So one of the intentions is to start reaching out to more vendors in the industry, and I'm sure in photography, if it weren't for vendors, nobody would have even ever got into digital photography because it was suddenly, I've got new things to sell at the camera stores. So, and I know that's something that you you have recommended in other shows, correct? So, do you think that's a good idea for
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I mean, I think I'm all in on relationship building, period. So
Yeah.
whether it's with your audience, with potential vendors, potential collaboration partners, potential sponsors, yes, 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 yes. And
Okay.
think about like if you the challenge that I put out there is always if I want to ask something of them, how I have to create a value add first. Like that's the challenge that I put out there to myself. Like if I find this company, they would be a great sponsor for this thing that I'm going to be doing. I'm like, how can I showcase them? Can I write them up in my newsletter? Can I do a little program or product review on my Instagram? Would they be a great guest for my show? Like,
Yeah.
how do I? Yeah, so
Sure.
that's the avenue that I would take with that situation. Is that
Yeah.
making sense?
Yep. Yep. My first thought was about having them on the show
Oh yeah.
because they've got these mailing lists, and so okay, cool. And
And
then
okay, I know we have one more question, but
just
another
it's just
idea.
just
Let me give you another idea because
okay.
this I can't help myself here, Lucy. So once you do the interview, if you have these vendors on your show and they have programs, products, and services, they've got a thing. Do some sort of a giveaway on social media and that will incentivize them to share it out and to put it out there. If you're doing like a co-branded thing, maybe a percentage off, a discount giveaway, or all your email subscribers can use the code blah blah blah, use the code Lucy to save 10% just today, just on the episode release day or something like that. Do a little thing like that and that'll encourage them to share it out, and that'll help them realize that your brand is bringing people to the table. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I do that with most of my guests that are speakers and other things that have other stuff,
Yep,
but making it juicier for like a camera store or a photo lab or something
exactly.
that has a huge list. Okay, I've thought about having a contest from my with my guests
Mhm.
about if win something awesome, like trying to boost listenership by competing to be the person with the most downloads or
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. Thoughts on that?
Yes. It's like you're reading my mind here, Lucy. So something that I need to start doing more often, and maybe you just help me get extra motivated to do this. I'll make a note. I'm going to do this, Pod Pals. Everybody out there listening can hold me to doing this. So what I've recommended for other people, and I used to do this in my health podcast days, once a quarter, do your top 10 most downloaded episodes or most downloaded interviews or whatever you want to do, and just put that list out on social media. Create like a little carousel image post, make it look nice, rank them, start with number 10, work down to number one, make a big deal of number one. Like, oh, congrats to so and so. They've been at the number one spot for 2 quarters in a row or a full year, or this is a new number one. They knocked off so and so, and make a deal and tag every single one of those people. Every time you do that, they will get competitive. Then follow it up and email all of them and go, hey, I don't know if you saw my Instagram post. You're number 7. Uh, you're so close to getting the top 5. You've moved up in the rankings. Here's your link just in case you want to share it out one more time to boost it. And they will. Like, or maybe even create a little image. And heck, you're in that creative space. Go the number 5, I'm number 5, or help me get in the top 5 most downloaded episodes, or like some sort of new image that references your show, what that episode was talked about, and then have the little link so that they can share that out as well. Just give them a little simple thing to do and they'll usually do it. And I had somebody do that with my health show. Every single time she saw herself go backwards in the rankings, she would share it out, and she ended up being my number one, and no one ever touched her because she had a big audience. And
Mm,
she shared it like 5 or 6 different times in intervals of a quarter. So that really made a huge difference. So that's something to think about. And it's kind of fun to do anyway. And
yeah.
it's
Yeah, I was
easy.
thinking of something where there's a prize. I have an email list of all of my guests and the ones, prize for the people
Yeah.
who have the biggest new boost or something. Thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
I mean, you could do that. I think I would test out the free option first because I've had
Okay.
people respond to that just because it's fun. It kind of feeds their ego a little bit, you know. If somebody puts me in a ranking list, I'm always going like, how do I get to the next one up in front of me? And I'll
Yeah.
share it out, you know.
Okay.
So make it simple. Don't
Yeah.
overthink it and make it fun. And I think the key is just the imagery with like that carousel post and then give them something that's very easy to share. Give them their link again, or put up an Instagram story and tag them so they can easily share it. And then it's back in their audience's feed again.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think something like that, simple, and you'll get a response from it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking even if I pick a topic, like here's the 5 most popular marketing show,
Nailed it. Yes.
and then here's the branding most popular show, like,
Yes.
so it's not just the top 10 that are already getting easy,
Yep.
already excelling because people are searching,
Yeah.
but to have categories every month or every quarter.
Like the way your brain's
Good,
thinking there,
smart
Lucy.
guy, Mr. Adam.
Everyone listening is like, he paid her to say that. No, so I think, yeah, we have some really good stuff cooking here. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire on this coaching thing because I think this is the thing that could bring. Like I've had people that started doing this and they're like, oh, wow, this is another 6 figures that just popped into my business because this worked. And it's a game changer. So I'm going to follow up with you. I'm going to send you all my notes and we'll make sure that we get implementing on this coaching style episode. Okay. So I want to make sure that we get to shout out your brand, spotlight it. So let's drop website, podcast. Where do people need to go if they want to get into the world of Lucy Dumas?
So all things Lucy Dumas coaching is under lucydumascoaching.com. Lucy with an I, although I also own the URL Lucy with an I. I mean with a Y because head slap,
Smart.
why not? And on there is a tab, the podcast that says podcast, which is the profitable photographer podcast.com, or on Spotify and Apple, it's the profitable photographer with Lucy Dumas on that. If there are some photography listeners and you'd like one of my free strategy sessions, I'd be delighted to have you email me at lucy@lucydumas.com and we can have a quick conversation, see if it is a go. And this is that longer deep dive private strategy session that I'm open to. And I still do photography. LucyDumas.com is my portrait photography website. Been doing this 40 years and full time, no rich husband, no inheritance, didn't live with mom and dad. So I know some stuff.
Yes, 40 years of expertise. All right. Well,
Right.
Lucy, I think that we're off to a great start here with this new idea. And everybody listening in, if you want to be just like our pod pal, Lucy Dumas here, get signed up for a podcast audit. Go to the website, podcastingbusiness.school, get signed up, and we will see you on the show. Everybody out there listening, I'm going to send you into the world, wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see y'all next time.
All right.